If you are a young 14, 16, 21-year-old girl, listen up.
So I'm going to try to make this as quick and concise as possible, but I've been thinking about that video since I saw it on Twitter a couple of days ago, and my heart goes out to her and all the other women who have experienced this, and I want to give my 2 cents, my experience with this situation. So, I was raised very traditionally Christian household, North Carolina, hence the accent. And I got married young. I got married at 18, willingly, like an idiot, and to my first husband. And I was told by my mom, by my dad, by the rest of my family that there's no way I was going to finish college, that I was going to drop out and just be barefoot and pregnant for the rest of my existence. And I knew that was not what I wanted, because I always had this sense that my mom had this like resentment towards my sister and I, because she would say stuff like, "Oh, I never got to live the life that I was meant to have because I had you to." Very bad thing to say, but it's like she felt like she was held back in some way by having children or whatever. So I was determined to not feel like having my son would be holding me back from doing what I was supposed to do. So I ended up grinding my way through college with no help from my family or my ex-husband's family, because, well, they were in Korea, and I did it on my own. Like, I literally went to summer school, busted my ass, took hella extra credits than I needed to after busting my ass in high school and actually getting scholarships and stuff. So I did everything I possibly could to graduate. I was supposed to graduate in December of 2018, and I ended up graduating in May 2019 because I busted my ass, even though I took an entire year off due to having my son. It wasn't a consecutive year. It was like one semester, and then I went back, and then one other semester. But anyways, I digress. So the thing is, being raised in that traditional Christian household, I was taught that like the man's career is more important. You should, like, your primary function as a woman is to be in the household or whatever and raising the kids. So I ended up being a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, raising my son. And in that time, his dad, like, I had helped build his dad up and like helped him budget, and we got all the debts paid off that we had. And I was just helping him. And then it's like, when I decided I couldn't be with him anymore and that we needed to get a divorce, he was like, "Oh, what are you going to do? Where are you going to live? You're going to be broke. You're going to be homeless. You're going to have nowhere to go." And I kept living with that man despite us not being together for like another year because I was scared. I did not know how to get out. And I finally was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go it on my own. And I finally got a job, a temp job, because the last real job I had had was in high school. And everybody who like I interviewed with was like, "You have a 5 year like gap in your employment history," like that. It just didn't look good, right? So when I did go for my first job interview, the guy was like, "You're fine with your child being in daycare for this many hours, blah blah blah." And that was the attitude that I got like when I went for interviews. And it's like, it, how degrading as a woman to be told like, "Oh, you're a bad mom because you have to go to work to feed your kid." It doesn't make any sense. So I ended up getting a temp job making $10 an hour. And I had moved in with my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. And I would just remember, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be able to do this? And thank God I had help from outside of my family, because my family was never going to help me, right? To help me take care of my son while I was trying to get back on my feet as a woman, just all this stuff, right? And I worked my ass off and went from being a temp to being full-time at that company, and then switching from that company to another company, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. And now I'm at the position now that I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. Literally have my own house with my new husband. But the thing is, I will never get to the point again where I am fully dependent on a man's love for me and his income to sustain myself. Like, my aunt told me that a long time ago, my great aunt. She told me never, ever, 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 ever fully depend on a man and always have your own money. And to this day, those words are etched in my brain, because seeing my ex-husband have a Genesis, literally paying $1,800 a month for his car and his car insurance, and I was making $10 an hour after I built this man up and did everything for him, really burned me good and made me realize that is not what I want for myself. And it's been hard for my current husband to, like, you know, get me out of that, like, masculine kind of independent mindset, and make me feel comfortable knowing that he's there to help me and I don't have to be so financially independent or whatever. But it's like, I still pay half of the mortgage, half of the utilities, and he takes care of food or whatever, but I still have my own, like, budget for food. I still have my own savings. I still have my own checking account, but we also have shared bank accounts as well, because I never want to be in that fucking position again. It literally sucked. And I spent 3 years now rebuilding my life, and his was perfectly fine. His was even better, like, because he had been married to me and I had helped him get out of debt, and I had helped him build up his career and given him the free childcare, the free labor of me tending to things at home and tending to our child so he could excel in his career. And then I was left with nothing at the end of the day. And I just want to say, ladies, it does get better and you can get out of it. It just takes a whole lot of discipline. And sometimes it takes outside help that is not family, because family's not always there for you. Like, mine was just like, you need to stay with him. It doesn't matter how bad he's being to you. And there's no way you're going to be able to get an education and have a career and still be a mom. Not the kind of negativity. I'm here to tell you, you can do it. And I will help you. If you need tips, I'm here. I'm your girl. Don't listen to them.